Hey everyone, Justin Byers from JB Byers Woodworking. Welcome back to the shop. And today we're going to tackle the drill bit drawers. I've got two, and I want to separate them to dedicate woodworking drill bits and metal drill bits for drilling metal. It's started kind of getting cluttered, a little more aggravating to dig stuff out, so I want to try to get things um, a lot more organized and separated and a little easier to get to. I have some bits buried underneath, and I've got this 115 piece drill bit set. It was my dad's, brand new, never been used. So I'm gonna try to get that over to this side. So I got everything cleaned out. Now I'm gonna try to start laying things in here to where it's a little neater, more organized, and just all around easier to access and reach for, Fastener bits or hole saw or just, woodworking drill bits in general, spade bits. And I actually put these, I changed this. So I started laying these spade bits out. I was debating on whether or not to take this section out, but I want to explain what I was originally going to do. To have a section that I engraved out to have all these laid in and separated by size. I was starting to get to where everything was fitting in there good, but it was just too kind of jumbled together. I thought it would have been kind of aggravating. Off camera, I decided to pull that one vertical drawer I had left that I hadn't developed anything in, and kind of messed around with it, and I decided to use that drawer to put my little, DeWalt, has some drill bits and some Phillip and straight heads and stuff like that, as well as my Craig jig, along with my spade bits. So that's what I'm going to be doing here is I'm drilling the holes for all my spade bits and ripping the material down. But that's the vertical drawer. I decided to use that space to actually get a little more organized with some of those, because I reach for those pretty regular. I think it'll just be handier for me and my setup to just pull that drawer out and have access to those. So that's why I left that one section of the video in there to where I was showing, me trying to utilize that space to get all that in there, when in actuality it was just going to be too cluttered. So I had to take a different approach on it. Nothing super fancy, just straightforward. Just cut a couple pieces of wood, drilled a few holes in them, mounted them inside this vertical drawer. Also, I offset the holes. So I did one set of holes, 1 inch on center, and then I offset the next row in front, offset it a 1/2 inch, 1 inch on center on each one of those. So they're kind of staggered bits. Here's a small clip of how they will set in there, kind of give you an idea of how I'm going to put some of the stuff in here. And I'll make a little trim piece that will hold those. And I was on the fence about hanging stuff up here. I decided to leave it, bare. There's no sense in trying to overcrowd a space. That's what I'm trying to avoid doing. So here I am, measuring to cut that one piece down to fit there. And I ended up, because it was, I think I ripped it down to like 1/4 of an inch. So normally I've been screwing everything into these verticals as well as everything else. So if I ever decide to change something, I can just take some screws loose and just, revamp that whole area. But this small strip, I ended up gluing it in. Also, if anybody has some suggestions, if you're watching this far, a lot of times putting drawers in always give me a fit, getting them lined up. I don't know if anybody's got some tricks or hacks or something to kind of help get those lined up a little better. But I managed to finally get this drawer pushed back in there and get everything seated good, so still give me access to all my spade bits. Really, I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I don't have these come full extension, but I made my drawers a little bigger, and they set back in my cabinet a little bit more, so I kind of have a little trick to get into those. So I may end up putting my Craig jig in front. But here's this drawer. Still have plenty of space if I want to add something later on. This is all just metal, tapping dies, metal bits, and pop rivets and stuff, mostly metal work. And here I have my woodworking drill bits, auger bits, and stuff like it. So it's not as cluttered. Still have, a good bit of my woodworking drill bits in here, more organized, easier to gain access to. And here's my vertical, my spade bits and my little Craig jig and D-Walk box there that I put in there. All in all, it's definitely a lot neater, much cleaner, easier access, and that's what I'm going for. So if you've enjoyed this or some of my other videos, I appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button, notification bell for further builds. I have a few more shop builds coming up, and I appreciate everybody's support. I really enjoyed making this tool cabinet, and I hope it inspired you, and keep making.